Good day and welcome to this special edition of Spotlight we're calling GM's Corner, a regular series of short conversations with Lake Monticello's General Manager Steve Hurwitz about what's on his mind and what's on his agenda. Well, Mr. General Manager, good morning as we speak. I guess the 2020 budget process is in high gear right now. What's the status and what more has to be done?
Well, Ron, you're right, and it's a big deal for the community in a lot of ways, and a lot of people are interested in it naturally. So what people should know is that the opportunity to interact concerning the budget process, there are a number of ways to do that. Let me mention one coming up very shortly on Thursday, November 7th at 5 o'clock into the evening. The board will have another review of the budget. That's an open meeting. People are welcome to speak about the budget in general or specific topics. By the same token, the material that goes to the board is available on the webpage. People can review it, and if they have any thoughts, and number one, if they want it relayed to the board but they can't attend the meeting, they should just email it to me. We'll put it together and get it to the board before the meeting so they can see people's comments. On the other hand, if they want to address it to me, they can. There's already been a few of those. And so based on the questions that we've received in the office, we'll be briefing the board on those particular matters, and then everyone will be free to see the results of that, ask further questions or what have you. So it's very important that it be an open process and people have a chance to comment, ask questions, and so forth.
This is in effect a board work session?
Yes, it is.
Thursday, 5 o'clock, Fairway Clubhouse?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
All right, fine.
And the more the better.
Yeah, all right. Well, absolutely. It's folks should be interested. It's our money, so that's a reason to make their thoughts known. Anyway, have there been any developments on our efforts to involve the Fluvanna Board of Supervisors or Virginia Department of Transportation in some of our nearby roads, principally Route 53? Sightline and safety issues, particularly as it relates to the Monash Gate?
There have been, and the new development that the county approved, Colonial Circle, just kind of brought this into focus. VDOT got interested, looked at historical records with particular reference to the Monash Gate and traffic safety coming in and out of the gate. So VDOT is proposing to eliminate left turns out of and into the gate. And there are a number of factors for that, and there are a number of complications that arise from that. But the board our board thought that this was an important matter. That's 53 is a major road for the entire county. It's a major commuting route into Charlottesville and so forth. So with that, our board of directors took the time to write a letter to the County Board of Supervisors, which has been sent. And the effort there is to enlist the aid of the County Board of Supervisors and the staff to work collaboratively with VDOT. Certainly not against VDOT. They have a responsibility they're only trying to fulfill concerning traffic safety. So the opportunity to look at other options and what might be possible.
Yeah.
Because there are some concerns about the traffic flow that would come from eliminating the left turns, commute routes and times, distances. So I'm very pleased to know that that's moving along, and we expect progress in being able to schedule, to sit down with all the agencies concerned. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, you can see the potential improvement in safety with the left turns, but sort of then that kind of transfers that traffic someplace else, does it not? And
Yes.
What's going to happen there? And the development of which you speak, of course, the enormous development planned and approved for the confluence, the junction of routes 53 and 618, and the big traffic circle, that roundabout that they're going to be constructing starting before too long, I gather.
It will, and that'll change the entire feel of that intersection, which is a major intersection, that is 618 and 53. And then the circle itself is what brought on VDOT's initiative.
Yeah.
about a longstanding issue with the Monish Gate.
Oh, it sure is for us, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's good.
You know, it shouldn't go without saying, but it is worth saying that anyone using the Monish Gate should be very thoughtful about entering the 53, exiting the gate in either direction. There's traffic moves through there at 45 miles an hour.
Yes.
Also making a left turn into the gate, to be very prudent and careful. I think if there's any place to come to a complete stop
Yes.
and look both directions, that's
Yeah.
the place to do it. That goes a long way to avoiding accidents and the possibility of injuries. But then you've got the structural matter and the traffic flow. So we are looking forward to working with all the concerned agencies on that.
Okay, well, we'll look for developments on that in the future. Hope they're good ones. We've had an inspection of the main dam, which is required. Is it annually?
Well, it's coming up.
Oh, coming up.
Coming up in just a couple of days when
Oh.
we're doing this session, you and I, today. And we're very, I wouldn't know if excited is the right word, but the dam is our major asset. You know, without it, there is no lake, and
Excellent.
so on and so forth. And we're very careful. There's a huge effort that goes into monitoring the dam. It's inspected 7 days a week. It's recorded. I review those inspections. Tom Schauter, our head of facilities management, is in charge of that. He's got an excellent staff that's very thoroughly trained, and they make a complete inspection every day, reviewed. And then there's a chance to exercise the dam valve, the main valve from the dam. This is not the spillway, the little low point as you approach the marina from Ash Lawn. That's the spillway. That's a different story. That valve is open and closed all the time.
Nice.
But the dam valve, which is at the bottom of the lake, at somewhere around 65 feet, is opened. We make sure that allows water to exit, and then we close it. And that's supervised by the engineering firm that we engaged to do this. And then there's a formal report to the state where this kind of thing is watched very closely. So it's a big deal. There are a lot of hands involved, and it's a very rigorous program. So on that basis, we're very excited. You know, that main valve on the main dam has operated for us when we needed it to during Florence last year, Hurricane Florence. But this is a chance to get it done and documented yet for another year. So we're looking forward to that being successful.
Well, all right. I'm sure everyone else is also. As it's everybody's got a stake in that, whether you have a boat or not. I mean, it's you say that without the dam working properly in the lake, there's really no community, is there? But, okay, we've talked before about the importance of committees, and I gather there was a great illustration of that this week with out of the Safety and Security Committee.
Indeed, and thank you for mentioning that. The committees are a huge resource here. We have so much talent and commitment in each and every one of the committees, each with a little different twist on responsibilities and so forth. But a really big deal is our policies. We are a community governed by our policies, and of course, our other governing documents and state law, and then a dash of common sense too. So the policies are very important. And if someone has a disagreement with something we're doing, a great thing for them to do is to take a few minutes, go online, or come on in and take a look at a hard copy of the written policies. So when I say policy, I mean the written documents. And then if they have a concern about a policy, a terrific place to start a discussion of it is with a relevant committee. Mm-hmm. So just recently, a number of people with concerns about barcodes and how that is, how all those policies are being applied, were able to come to the Safety and Security Committee. They were able to state their views, the circumstances that led them to have concerns, and the committee considered all those. I got to sit in on that meeting and watch a very deliberative, careful process. And that's true for almost anything. You know, we have so many committees that are very much aware of the policies in the areas they're concerned with. It's a great resource, and I'm very pleased to see more and more of that happening, particularly just a couple of days ago with Safety and Security Committee. I hope the residents who came with their concerns were satisfied that they had a fair and open hearing and discussion. and that the committee gave it proper consideration. It looked that way to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it's a place for suggestions as well. I mean,
Yes.
there again, safety and security, using an example. People see something around the community that they say, you know, well, we could improve that, and well, okay, that's really the place to start, is it not?
It is, and I will say in a number of functional areas, committees are able and willing to point out things that they think the staff should think about more, or if it needs to go directly to the board, they'll do that too. Those are very helpful. You know, I wouldn't say we are perfect. I'll just say we work very hard at trying to do the best job possible. And, you know, observations, hints, questions,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially from people who think about those particular areas and meet and discuss with each other, are always very helpful. And we have looked at a number of things and, in fact, changed a number of the way we do business based on committee thoughtfulness and comments and observations.
Yeah, and to keep it at the root of it, we have to remember this is, after all, basically a member-owned community. And as I have referred to it in the past, as our continuing experiment in self-democracy. And that's a good illustration of it. Well, certainly, as we've noticed, the calendars have changed, and the falling leaves drift by our windows. The autumn leaves of red and gold, and they drift by increasing numbers onto our lawns and mulch and swales, and that brings up a problem, doesn't it?
It does. We are blessed with the trees and the foliage, and then they deposit the leaves. If we were just a forested area, you know, that might be one thing, but we're not. We're really a 12-mile watershed into our 350-acre lake. So any leaves within that 12 miles are headed for the lake one way or another, sooner or later, if they don't turn to mulch or what have you.
Yeah.
So what would be great is if people were very aware of this, which is not to push, blow, or rake leaves into high ground or certainly into a ditch where they are bound to go down into the lake. So yes, it's a fair amount of work. It kind of goes with the blessing we have with the trees and the beautiful scenery. But it is against the rules to cause your leaves to go into a common area, a reserve area, a vacant lot, or into any water course or the lake itself. That also is true for putting the leaves or allowing the leaves to be in ditches to block the ditches and the culverts from performing their function.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of work in the fall for folks, but you know, our trash company, County Waste, will take 5 bags any trash day. So that's quite a capability. If people have a big rake day and bag up 20 bags, it's perfectly fine to just pile the bags up neatly someplace on the lot. That's convenient. That wouldn't be a violation, and put out the 5 as they go.
Right.
And so we look forward to everybody doing their part to help keep the leaves out of the lake where they can end up, and then they do cause trouble. In fact, our whole dredging program is partially for the sediment that washes in, and a large part of the sediment that washes into the lake has to do with the leaves.
Yeah, we'd love to say Mother Nature put the leaves there, and please, Mother Nature, take them away, but it just doesn't work that way, does it?
No.
No, okay, it doesn't. We've also embarked on a program of electronic billing that has the prospect of saving certainly administration, and by extension all of us, some money. Tell us about that, if you would.
Well, this is really the first push into the electronic world in order to save resources, money. And so the electronic billing is a great way to do that. And we're now over 200 owners have signed up for electronic statements for the annual dues. And you know, it's a little bit hard to estimate, but I'm figuring about $1.50 is saved annually for everyone who signs up for that. Plus there's a labor savings in not having to put together an invoice, a physical invoice, put it in an envelope. So we're very pleased with that. We think that's a precursor to a really bigger push in association with the 2020 dues mailings, where we will be asking people to do that. That whole effort is only part of many other features that we'll be kicking off to go electronic and paperless to the extent possible, to save money, staff time, so it can be available for other duties. And so we're very positive at this point about the results so far.
And easy for folks to do. Now, how do people sign up for this?
Very simple. All I have to do is contact Resident Services, and they can do that by just phoning, and the number is published everywhere, or emailing.
Okay.
And there's a new email address for Resident Services at LMOA to make it easier. And I recommend people go on the web page to check that out, the phone numbers and the email addresses.
All righty. Okay, fine. And we have one of the Wildlife Committee programs coming up that I know folks are interested in, and it's an issue that gets debated and has been, and I guess maybe still is, and that's our deer population.
We do, and Ron, I brought a flyer that our wonderful Wildlife Committee, which is doing a great job. The programs are just terrific. There's a program on Tuesday, November 19th at 7 to 9 p.m. And the committee has been able to arrange to bring in an expert from the state, Mike Dyer, Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries. And he's going to talk about the deer, which is a matter of concern to a lot of people from various different reasons and standpoints. And so this is a great opportunity for people to come and listen to really an expert, recognized expert in the field. I'm going to be there myself. I've got some questions, and I think this is a terrific service to the community, and I encourage anyone who's interested to come. The flyer does say that if you have any questions, contact the Wildlife Committee. People can go online and do that. And then I think this will be a full exchange and an interesting and exciting couple of hours.
Tuesday, November
19th.
19th, what time?
7 to 9 p.m.
7 to 9.
In Fairways
Fairway Club.
in the pub.
Okay.
I mean, next to the pub.
All right. Okay, fine. Well, they've had some big turnouts before, and they've had all kinds of experts before, and we have treated that issue up one side and down the other. I guess maybe it's sort of still being looked at by a committee, is it?
Yes, it is. And you know, the board is very well aware of the great interest, even to the point of strong feelings, concerning the deer population. So that meeting is going to be very helpful for individuals to make up their minds.
Okay.
And then we'll just have to see how it evolves.
All right. Well, one of those issues that it sort of stays with us, as the deer stay with us, quite obviously. Well, thanks for bringing us up to date, and we'll look forward to doing it again.
Thank you, Ron. This was great.
You've been watching GM's Corner, a regular series of conversations with LMOA's General Manager, Steve Hurwitz. We hope you'll join us again. We do it twice a month. And also for the full range of broadcasting brought to you by LMOA's broadcast group. You can see it on your good old channel 977 or up on YouTube. So till we see you again, thanks very much for watching. On behalf of the broadcast group, I'm Ron Krause. Thanks and good day.